Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today we're going to be putting a custom threaded shift knob onto our friction fit E46. This is going to be going into my wife's car. She is super excited about it. And then we're going over some of the upsides to having a weighted shift knob. But before we get into installing this and all the things that you need to do to make this project work, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like if you enjoy this type of content. Also make sure to check us out on Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports, and the Instagram for this car up here, Nikki_Nightmare46. Now this shift knob is made by Bamshift. They do a lot of JDM cars, which is why this is threaded. And this is very popular to put on JDM cars. So instead of building actual street builds, they just put trinkets and shift knobs onto a lot of their cars. I'm not sure what all other cars come with threaded knobs, but all the BMWs that I know of are basically friction fit, which means that you need an adapter. This little adapter right here, and we'll go over why there's already parts on it from this kit, because I ordered the wrong one. I had to modify it. So we'll go over that in just a second. This slips over the friction fit part of your shift linkages. And then what you'll do is you'll just put some set pins in here. It comes with 6 of them. And then that way it gives you the opportunity to put on a threaded shifter. Now, unfortunately, I bought the wrong one. I will have multiple down in the description just in case you are wanting to do a threaded shift knob. If you found one that was just like, oh my gosh, I have to have this one shift knob and it only comes threaded, it is not that big of a deal. I think this was $8. So here's what I ended up doing that was wrong. So in here is M16 by 1.25, and the inside of this thread pitch adapter is an M10 by 1.25, and I accidentally bought an M12 by 1.25. So what I had to do was grind it down, and then I had to rethread it. And while doing that, I messed up just a little bit. So I've actually got, I don't think it's gonna actually damage what we've done here, but I've actually got the other pieces already locked on here. So this comes with, like I said, an adapter to go from an M10 to the M16, which is what is on this. So anyways, this is what it'll look like all put together. I don't want this hanging out the top of the shift boot. So what we'll be doing is we'll actually be taking the shift boot and cutting the zip tie off of it, and we'll bring it up to the top of this, and that way you won't see this adapter hanging out the top while you're shifting. I'm gonna be doing one step further. I might not be doing it in today's video. I might not be doing it today, but you'll see it in this video. I will be measuring how far in here the shift linkage can actually go, and I will be cutting it down the shift linkage just a little bit. I'm probably only gonna cut about an inch off of it. And then one thing I did notice is that this is a little bit tight. So you might have to actually slightly bore this out or take a little bit of material off the shift linkage itself. This is a cheap eBay part. I think these are $5 to $8. So the fact that it doesn't fit absolutely perfect is not abnormal or surprising in any aspect. That's what we'll be doing today. I want to be able to just see this on the car, kind of get a rough idea of where we need to cut it. And then in this video, you'll get to see it actually all put back together and get to see us driving. All right, one other thing before we go into the car. These are sleeves that fit inside of here. So if your shifter parts are smaller than this diameter, you can actually taper these down. It's pretty cool little kit for the money. We don't need any of these. In fact, like I said earlier, it's probably actually a little bit too small as it is. So let's go get up in the car and get the old one removed, which is a weighted shift knob as well. We'll compare the weights between the two and get this one roughly mounted up so we can see what to expect when it's put together fully. So here is the shift knob we've been using. It is a weighted ZHP styled knob. These aren't super expensive. You can get a weighted one like this one for around $80 to $100, which is, in my opinion, worth it. Long term, we're probably gonna put a tall performance shifter in here, but for right now, we already owned this one because this was one that my wife was planning on using a while ago on another car. It's just by happenstance that we found a way to get it put onto this car while doing some research. It is pretty simple to get these off. If your shift knob is super like really on there, you want to put it back into like 2nd or 4th gear, and then you can just kind of almost pull straight back towards you. This one has been taken off a few times, so as you can see here, it slides right off. And then from here, let's just see kind of roughly what this is going to look like. We'll slide that piece on there. Like I said, this is kind of tight. So actually, it won't slide on past that. But let me work this just a little bit and see if we can't get a rough idea of what this is going to be like. All right, well, it looks pretty ridiculous right now because I don't have it on very far. So from here, what we'll be doing is removing the shift boot. I should be able to just pull straight up on this. I had to glue the boot to this piece of plastic, so it might take me a little bit more strength to get this up than usual, but you'll pull straight up on this, and then you can access the underside of your shift boot. We'll cut the little zip tie that's underneath there, and then what we'll be doing is after we cut this down slightly, this shift boot will actually grab right here. So this shifter will sit quite a bit lower, and I'll show you what that's going to look like. It'll look much more like this, where the boot is basically to the bottom of this, and this will probably be sitting up about right there height-wise. So the upside to having a long shifter, so for example in my race car, is if you're trying to be just as fast as you can, from your hand being on the steering wheel to the shifter is just a straight shot. You don't have to come down and try to find the shifter. It's just straight over, and my shift knob sits like right here. This one obviously isn't going to be like that because this isn't a full replacement performance shifter. We're looking at an IRP. We've got the CAE Ultra shifter on my race car, and we're just going to be building this car slightly different. So we're going to probably try out the IRP one. Those can cost roughly $600. The other thing is they weigh about the same. I'd say that they weigh about the same. And just playing with it on here, the way it feels, a weighted shift knob, really honestly what it does is it just makes the driving experience a little bit more smooth, almost a little less gritty. It just kind of rocks into the gear without you having to like absolutely force it in there. So here's fourth gear, third, fifth, and without a shift knob, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like tinny light feeling, and I don't know, it's something that you'll have to experience to really enjoy. All right, so this is the first time I've shifted it. I put it in first gear or second gear. Honestly, it's kind of fun because I don't know how to explain it. The fact that it's weighted makes it feel really, really, really good. This is the hardest part about making content sometimes, is trying to convey how things feel to you guys, because you're not here, you can't try it out. And so it's just up to me to go, okay, well, this is how I feel. And I don't know, I kind of like it. I didn't know if I would like it. Again, my wife got this and I was like, I don't know if I want to put that on the car. And I literally have only shifted it like 6 times, like literally just now as we're on camera. And it's kind of fun. I think because it's taller, it has a little bit more leverage. And so it kind of goes into gear a little easier versus kind of going down really low. I don't know, I'd say yes. A weighted shift knob that's taller. And not that this is like a racing setup now, just because it's taller, but I can go from steering wheel to shifter quicker than down below. Preferably, like my race car, you'd be straight over, basically, you know, steering wheel shifter. But it's pretty close. So I'm gonna go do a couple, a little bit more aggressive shifts out here on the main street, where we're not speeding in the neighborhood. And yeah, as of right now, like, I only had to shift it a few times, and I feel really good about it. We'll see how far into the video my wife watches, but don't tell her that I said that. I kind of do like this. we'll see if she actually watches through my videos. I don't know if she does or not. She watches them because she supports her husband, but I don't know if she like actually watches. So obviously I wouldn't pick pink, light pink, or anything like that. But I think this is fun. It's kind of cool because you can hold it like this as well if you wanted to shift. I'm more of the on the top. but that's only because I've gotten used to my shifter, which is, you're not really holding it this way, you're holding it on the top. So yeah, I'll have a link to this in the description below, everything we used. The shift boot, if you come back down here, is a little tight, so I might have to adjust it a little bit. And all that means is that I'll come in here and take the zip tie out and adjust the boot a little bit. It's a little bit snug here in like second and fourth, but other than that, pretty happy with it. I really appreciate everybody so much for watching. Really a good project to do. You can get these Bamshifts for as cheap as $100, and you can get that little adapter piece for like less than 10. So it's a really fun project to do. And if you don't go through Bamshift, which you don't have to, but if you have a threaded shifter and you want to put them on your Beamer, all you have to do is get that little adapter piece and you're in business. Thanks again, everything down in the description. We'll see you in the next video.
Bam!